Welcome once again to SoCal Training Team. Thank you for taking your time to watch this channel. Today, I'm going to go through how to set up a group home for children. Now, when I'm talking about group homes, it covers ages 0 to 17. Specific to this training, I want to talk about group homes in relation to regional center, meaning you're going to get your clients from the regional center in this particular session. So if you're interested in developing a group home and vendoring with the regional center, then you're in the right place. I'm going to walk you through step by step on what you need to do to set it up from step 1 to step whatever, 20. So first of all, let's start with group home. So what is a group home? So a group home is in relation to regional center. A group home is a residential facility that serves children ages 0 to 17 that have been diagnosed with a developmental disability. In order to be diagnosed with a developmental disability, you were diagnosed before the age of 18, and that's what qualifies you for the regional center services. And you went through the regional centers for that assessment. That child went through the regional center for that assessment. So how do we open up a group home? So the first thing I like to do is find out the need. When I say find out the need, I want you to go to the regional center that's in your area that serves your catchment area. And I want you to go to the resource developer and ask, what is the current need for a group home in my area? Is it for boys? Is it for girls? Is it for behavioral programs? What type of program do they need in that area? So that's the first thing I want you to do. That's one. The second thing I want you to do is find out what type of experience you need. Do you need 6 months experience? Do you need 12 months experience? Do you have to work in a certain type of facility? So I want you to find out the need. To give you guys a little hint on the experience part, typically the regional center, depending on the level of care, so there are different levels of care that you can provide through the regional center. I'll talk about that in another video. But for the type of experience, that experience has to be related to the type of facility or level of care you want to open. So once you find out the need and the experience, whether it's 6 to 12 months, that means you physically working in a residential facility for children. Once you find out the need, the type of experience, you want to find out the level of care. And the level of care can range from 1 through 4, A through I. The lower the number, the less care. The higher the number, the more care, to simplify it for you guys. So once you guys find out the need, the experience that you need, you meet these experience requirements, you find out the level of care, which is related to the type of experience, then you want to find out what is the process for you to begin working on to get vendored through the regional center. Most regional centers want you to submit a letter of intent. That letter of intent is basically a letter that says that you want to develop a group home facility with this level of care and you have this type of experience. So it's basically a brief letter that explains who you are, where the facility is going to be, and then the type of care that you're going to provide. That will be your letter of intent. Once you submit that letter of intent, the regional center sends you a program outline. I know I'm writing sloppy, but you guys get the point. So you get a program outline. That program outline walks you through the process of developing a program statement, or you may consider it a business plan, a program design. So it's named various different things. Now remember, each regional center, they don't actually do the same process across the board. Some regional center do things differently. So be aware that there are going to be some nuances from regional center to regional center. For the most part, the process is the same, but some processes and procedures are different from regional center to regional center. So after you found out the need, you figured out if you have the experience, that's 6 to 12 months, you determine the level of care, you submit a letter of intent to develop a program. They respond to you. You develop a program outline. And then what happens with this program outline that goes to the regional center, you go back and forth. You make corrections every 45 days or so, but you go back and forth until they approve it. Once they approve it, then they'll work with you on developing your program once they approve that program design. So a part of this process, while going through this process with the regional center, I'm going to erase this. There's another part, because that facility or your home has to be licensed at some point. You can do the licensing process. You can do the licensing process in conjunction with the vendorization process. So you can do them basically at the same time. So the regional center process, I kind of walk you through setting that up as a group home. Now let's talk about the licensing process. So the licensing process is, you want to license your home through Community Care Licensing, or CCL. In order to license your home, you have to submit an application. The application has two parts, Part A and Part B. Part A is the application. Basically, it's forms that you need to complete. They're asking you questions about your business, your financials, etc. The Part B is the program. Now, don't confuse the program with the one that you create for the regional center. They have similarities, but they are not the same. They have different requirements. So the program, once again, it's a program design, program statement, business plan, whatever you want to call it. The licensing application, if you go to the licensing website and you want the application, you want all the different forms that you need to include in the application, is LIC 281. That's the application. So Part A, there are several parts to Part A. There's several parts. There's applications, there's facility there's a facility design as far as floor plan, there's financials, a lot of different forms you got to fill out for the application. And then the program design, Part B, this LIC 281 walks you through that process as well. And they'll tell you what you need. You need to talk about food. You need to talk about outer areas of the home, special incident reports. You need to discuss daily activities. So there are a lot of things that you're going to talk about in the regional center and the licensing process that are very similar. The licensing process is a little easier than the actual regional center process, but they both take time to complete. So you're going through the licensing process, you're completing the application, all the different forms that are part of the application part, and then Part B, you're completing the program plan of that as well. Now, one thing I want to show that often takes a lot of you guys out of the game is that you need to show 3 months operating expense. 3 months operating. Now, this has to be liquid cash, basically. You have to have this 3 months operating expense in the business name. Has to be in the business name, and you have to have an account in the business name. So your account number is set up in the business name. Typically, so it depends, well, it doesn't really depend. I can just give you the average. The average operating cost that you're going to have to show in the bank is about $50,000. So that'll kind of give you an idea of what you need to have. So when you submit this application to Community Care Licensing, you need to have those funds available because they are going to verify that those funds are available in your bank account. Now, say you don't have all this money in your bank account. You can use a credit line. You can use a credit line. You can use a credit card, but the card has to be also in the business name. It can't be a personal credit card. It has to be in the business name. Has to be in that business name. So before you even set up your licensing application, or you begin that process, or before you begin applying through the Regional Center for Services, you want to already have your business set up. So this is the licensing application process, but I want to walk it back a little bit. I'm going to erase some of this. I'm going to walk it back a little bit because I want to give you guys a little bit more clarity before you get to this point. So yes, $50,000. That's the number. It's the magic number. If you have more, hey, great. So let's walk it back a little bit. So when you guys first go to the regional center and you find out what the need is in your area, and you say, okay, I'm going to develop a program in California, in the city of wherever. So before you do, once you determine what the need is and you want to begin the process, you're going to set up a corporation. What type of corporation? I'm not going to tell you guys that. That's for you and your financial team or whoever your financial person is. But there are a few corporations you can set up. You can set up a C Corp, a S Corp, C Corp, S Corp, LLC, partnership. I can go on and on, right? But you want to set up some type of entity. Why do you want to set up a corporation or an entity in this business? You want to set it up because it provides you protection. It provides you protection. It provides you protection against lawsuit from a client, from a client's family, from any entity outside of that you have exposure to. This corporation is going to protect you, especially if you run this corporation properly and you're not mixing it with all your personal income and your personal lifestyle. Then this corporation will protect you. In California, it's not if you're going to get sued, it's when you get sued, and you want to be prepared for that. So you want to set up a corporation. But I'm saying set up the corporation once you've done your research. A lot of us, we just dive in this game and we just run and we're working backwards because someone gave us information and it may not be the best information. So you want to deal with people like me. I've been doing this for 23 years. I open up several facilities every single year. I consult on a lot of different facilities as well. And I want to let you guys know, if you guys have questions, I know I do charge a consult fee, and some of you guys don't want to pay the consultation fee, and that's fine. But I want you guys to think of some things. You're trying to open up a business and you want all your information for free, and it typically doesn't come that way. I find that people that pay a consultation fee, they come better prepared when they meet with us in the office because they are paying a consultation fee, opposed to a free consultation where you may not show up on time and you may overstay your welcome because you're asking 10,000 questions because you were ill prepared for the meeting. So that's one of the reasons, if you guys were wondering why we charge a consultation fee, that's why we charge a consultation fee, because you may not even be prepared to get to that next stage. But what I'm going to do with that thought, I'm going to work on going live every single day for about 10 minutes, and I'll be answering your questions. So be on the lookout for that. That will be the time to get all your questions and to pick my brain and get your questions answered. So that is I'm giving you guys a little information to help you guys later. So let's get back to the group home. So set yourself up a corporation, whatever type of entity benefits you, and you're setting that up for protection as well. So let's talk about money for a little bit. And because I know a lot of you guys are concerned with the money aspect of it. So to open up, it's just not a group home, guys. To open up a group home, an adult residential facility, an elderly facility, you have to have 3 times operating costs, 3 times the amount, 3 times operations. It's not for the faint of heart. You got to have some money, guys. I don't know a business that you can get into. Well, I guess there are some businesses that you can get into with low entry, but most of us don't know those. So you need 3 times the amount. So how did I come up with that $50,000, right? How did I come up with that $50K? All I did was average the amount of operations or what it takes to run a facility. So you're going to take into account all the different operating expenses. When you fill out your licensing application, it actually gives you a list of all the different things that you need to put in your budget. And then all you're doing is timesing it by 3. That's all you're doing. The average cost is about $50K. Easily. It can be more, believe it or not, depending on, it can be easily more depending on how many clients you're serving and the location, how much is your mortgage or rent. So as you get, that price will fluctuate. If you're paying $6,000 just in mortgage, I already have to times that by 3. So that's $18,000 just in mortgage or rent. So that's why that number adds up really fast. And before you know it, you need $50K or more. For some clients, the average is about, some of my clients, the average is about $50K, but it can increase from there. I've seen $60K, $80K, etc. And you do have to have, like I said, you have to have that money in the business bank account in the business name. Very important stuff. All right. And so group home, experience, regional center, setup. Let's talk about, I'm not going to give you guys exact number, but we'll talk about income a little bit because I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. So when you develop a group home and you go to the regional center and you say, hey, what is the need in the area? What type of facility do you need? And they tell you, hey, we need a children's home, for girls. And they'll tell you we need level, I'll just make it up here. Well, I'll give you one of those. We need level 3. And we need 4 beds. And they have to be separate or personal rooms. You have to give personal rooms because they single beds, I should say. Single beds. And we're going to pay you, I don't know what the rate is off the top of my head, say $5,000 per head. It might be somewhere around there, probably $5,000, $5,800. So you have to start doing the math, right? So 5,000 times 4, which is the number of beds that you have, that's 20,000, right? That's 20,000 per month, give or take. Now you want to know, can I make money? As much as I love providing a service and helping people and making a difference in children's lives, but I have to generate income from this as well. So how am I going to be able to do that? So you take that $20,000, guys, and do the math on it. So from that 20,000, what are we deducting from that? We're going to take away, let me write on this side so I won't block the board. So what are we going to take away from that? I'm just going to say rent or mortgage, right? We got rent, we got food, we got auto, we got supplies, we got payroll. Hint, I'll give you guys a hint. Payroll is going to eat up a lot of your money. You got payroll, you have utilities, you have insurance, right? I'm not giving you guys every single last thing. You have activities, you have repairs. See, a lot of people, and the reason why I'm going through this is because a lot of people get into this business and they never do the math. They don't do the math or the breakdown on what it's going to cost them. They're just looking at, oh, I get 5,000 a head. That's a good number. But you got to break down before you even get into this business, guys. Break down what it'll cost you to get in, to make money in this business. And if I'm breaking this all down, as you can see, I haven't even put numbers on this. If your payroll, all these different things. So, and then you got to think about in your payroll, what's your staffing? These are the things that are going to eat away. I can almost do, and I just gave myself an idea. I can do a whole training on let's break down operations to see what your profit and loss will be on a business, and actually use genuine numbers that you guys could so you can get a good idea of what it'll look like. And so you guys already know, you're already living life, working, kids, whatever, house, cars, dogs, cats. If this money, this $20,000, and I'm not saying this is even accurate, I'm just giving you guys an example, but this $20,000 is going to get eaten up by all these different things. And I just listed a few here. I just listed rent, food, auto, supplies, payroll, utilities, insurance, activities, repairs. There's a lot more things that I didn't capture in there. So do the math. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to do. Do the math to make sure remember, you're going into business. As much as you enjoy providing care, you're going into business. So you want to make sure that it is a profitable business for you guys. So that is income. And believe it or not, $20,000 does sound like a lot. But like I said, if you haven't done your profit and loss, you could be losing money, or you could be overworking and not really generating that money. So you want to make sure you do that. But like I said, I'll do a video with the breakdown of operations so you guys have a better idea of what it looks like. So let's just recap. So I'm just about done with this. I'm gonna wrap this up. So setting up your group home. First thing I want to do is I want to find out the need. Find out need. Let's just recap. Find out need. So I'm going to go to the regional center. What is the need in the area? Once I find out the need, I'm going to ask, how do I begin the process? Most likely it's going to be a letter of intent. What I would do if I were you guys, once I find out the need, once I find out the need and there is an actual need in your area, I would set up a corporation. I would set up a corp, because you're going to need it anyway. And then with that letter of intent, you're going to submit under your corp name. Part of that is, let me back up a little bit. Experience. That's actually supposed to be number 2. Do you qualify? Do you qualify, not quality, but do you qualify to open a regional center vendored home? That is a very important question. Because if you don't qualify, then you can't vendor with the regional center. How do you qualify? I'll give you some of the experience for you guys to qualify because I think that's important as well. So how do I qualify? You need to have your group home administrator certificate. That's a 40-hour course. 40 hours plus testing. You need to have your DSP 1 and 2. DSP stands for Direct Support Professional. That's a free training that you can take online, but in order for you to take that training, you have to work for a regional center vendored home. So you can't just go online and take that course. Not anyone can just take it. It doesn't work that way. You have to be working for a home to take it. You need your first aid, CPR. And then depending on the level of care, remember I told you the different levels, 1 through 4A, depending on the level of care, level 1 through 3, you don't need this, but anytime you hit level 4, you're going to need CPI, which stands for Crisis Prevention Institute or PROACT, depending on the regional center. The regional center will tell you which one they prefer, and that's the one you go get. Make it simple. So you only need this bottom portion, the CPI or PROACT, if you're a level 4. If you're going level 4, sorry about the sloppy writing. If you're level 4, you need the PROACT. If you're not going level 4 and they need, say, a level 3 home, then all you would need is your group home administrator certificate. You need your DSP 1 and 2. You need your first aid CPR. And then remember, with the experience, you need 6 to 12 months. I always say 12 months is better. Why is 12 months better? Because it gives you more experience, number one. And number two, it actually gives you the opportunity to work in the business and learn about the business to determine whether it's something you can actually do. And if you want to do it long-term or short-term, etc. So experience, group home administrator certificate, 40 hours, DSP 1 and 2. To take this group home administrator certification program, you do not have to have the experience. Anyone can take the program. You just pay, take it, and then you take a state exam with the community care licensing once you complete the class. But that does not qualify you as an administrator. What qualifies you as an administrator is the experience. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, if you open up a level 1 through 3, you need 6 months experience. If you open up a level 4, this is level 3, level 1 through 3, you need 6 months, right? 6 months. If you open up a level 4, you need 12 months experience. So keep that in mind as well. Level 1 through 3, you need 6 months. Level 4, you need 12 months. And so depending on what the regional center tells you what they have a need for, you can base your experience off of that. Now, say you don't have experience, but you still want to develop a facility. Let's talk about that for a little bit. And I'm gonna tell you what you can do, but I'm gonna also give you my suggestion of what you should do as a business owner, because no matter how you look at it, guys, you are truly a business owner. This is a business. It's just a business of serving people. That's what you're in this for. Now, most of us, we get in this business because it does generate income. That's why we get in the business. There's, besides us having the heart to want to care for people, we have to keep in mind that we do want to generate an income from this as well. So I just lost my train of thought there. Give me a second. So we talked about the different levels. Okay, levels, that's what I was on. So level of care. So the levels. So 1 through 3, 6 months, right? I just want to rewrite this, 6 months. Sorry, if you can't read that. And then 4, 12 months. And I just got my thought back too. So what I was saying was, when you get in this business, you're considering getting in this business, you're thinking about getting in this business, you really want to get in this business, there you don't necessarily you can hire someone with the experience and they can work for you, sure. That's called the shortcut. But some regional centers are getting hip to that, right? And they want the owners to have the same amount of experience as the the administrator that they hire. So you have to keep that in mind. Every regional center does that in a different way, but keep that in mind. But say the regional center is okay with it. You can hire an administrator with this 12 months or 6 months experience, and then you open up your corporation and you go on as the owner, and then the administrator goes on. You put the administrator as they're going to run the facility, and then you're the owner of the facility. Some regional centers allow you to do that, some will not. So you want to keep that in mind. So this is what I suggest, though. I call that the shortcut, right? I'm taking the shortcut because I don't really want to do the work. And I think it's not really beneficial for you as an owner to do that. Why? Because at the end of the day, you don't know, understand, or you've never worked in a facility, so you don't have that background to know if that administrator or that person you have working for you is even doing the right thing. So what do I suggest that you do? It's pretty simple. It's not complex. What I suggest you do is you go to work. Go to work for at least 12 months. Get the experience yourself. Part-time, full-time, however you have to do it. And I know some of you guys are saying, but Leonardo, I have a full-time job. I don't have the time. Well, you know how you find time to do everything in life that is important to you, whether it's take a vacation, go on a trip, not go to work, etc. It's the same thing here. We always seem to find ways as humans to do things that we really want to do. So you have to think to yourself, how bad do I really want to open my own business and become independent and not have to go to work and punch a clock Monday through Friday from 9 to 5? How can I call my own shots and work for myself and decide how much income I want to make? So that's related to this. How can I get this 12 months of experience working in a residential facility, providing at the level of care that I want to open for my own business, while at the same time getting experience, understanding the business more, and when I do open my business, now I will have a good foundation for what that administrator and what my staff are supposed to do with me. Why? Because I've actually done it. Now, what does this work experience look like? You're going to basically get a job at a residential facility. I'm going to tell you, get a job at the highest level. I'm going to say, get a job in a level 4I. That's not necessarily the highest, by the way. That's a whole nother training. So a level 4I is a great foundation for you. You get the behavioral side, you get the clients that need more assistance than other levels. So a level 4I puts you in a great situation. Now, this can be part-time or full-time. Part-time or full-time, working in a level 4I. If you get your experience working at this level, guys, you can develop typically any type of facility. And in another training, which I'll actually talk about at some point, when you get level 4I experience, and say you open up, if you get level 4I experience, guys, you can open up a level 1, 2, 3, or 4. It gives you all of them. It captures all because you have that experience. But remember, you need the 12 months experience. During that 12 months experience, you're going to gain a lot. You're going to get not just your experience, right? Not just your experience, but you're going to get your DSP 1 and 2 that we talked about, because they're going to put you through that class. You're going to get your first aid CPR. if you don't already have it. You're going to get your CPI or PROACT. So after that 12 months, guys, after that, you guys are ready to rock. You're ready to go to the regional center. 12 months goes by fast, guys. We're already in April, and this year is already rolling. So that 12 months experience goes by really fast. Like I said, you get knowledge of the business, you understand how the business runs, you understand what your staff should be doing, you get training yourself. So when you do develop your own business, what do you think your odds are of being more successful than the person that did not get this experience and they took the shortcut and decided to hire somebody with the experience, and you hired someone that may not even be good at their craft? So you don't know what a good administrator should be doing for your facility because you've never worked in a facility yourself. Now, just remember that 12 months experience is 12 months experience on its own, but you also need your administrator certificate. That 12 months experience also qualifies you as an administrator. So then you become a qualified administrator. If you just get your administrator certificate prior to having the experience, it doesn't qualify you because you don't have that experience. The last thing I want to talk about is once you get, as you're getting your experience, I should say, once you get your 12 months experience, you guys want to get with your regional center, and you want to take their orientation. It's called they call it different things, but I'm going to call it a residential services orientation. So with that residential services orientation, what it is it's an introduction to regional center services, and it's the entryway for you to become a vendor with the regional center as well. The class is probably about a week long. Some of them do it on Zoom, some of them do it live, but you can't take that residential services orientation until you have your experience. And they're going to verify that experience. Some regional centers verify that experience with pay stubs. Some verify it with just a resume. So there's various different things. But part of that verification is that you have to show experience. You have to have your DSP 1 and 2. You have to have your first aid CPR. So you have to have all these ducks aligned in order for you to take that orientation. This orientation, regional centers, they don't give it a lot of times during the year. You might see it twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year, but it's not a class that comes up. So that is very important. So let's talk about the time frame. I know you guys are probably thinking to yourself, time frame. How long does it take me to set up all this? And I know I'm giving you guys a lot of information, but what you can do is you can rewind, or you can go back, stop, and you can go back and kind of soak up some of this information that we missed. So what is the time frame? A lot of you guys say, how long is it going to take me to open up a facility? Realistically. And so I'm going to tell you realistically, and this is not just me talking off the top of my head. This is from experience because I've opened them for clients. The time frame, I always say, be prepared to go 12 to 18 months. And I know you guys say, wow, that's a long time. Hey, you're going into business. You're going into business and you're telling me that you have $50,000 in operations fund to sustain while the facility is in development. Now, can it happen? Can it happen sooner than that 12 to 18 months? Sure, it can. We've done it. But can it be 18 months plus? Yeah, sure, it can be. So it all depends. It depends mostly on you and the regional center. As far as the development part, for us as consultants, we can develop them. We typically do our part pretty quickly, but there are nuances in there that we can't account for. Staff taking vacation, paperwork being lost, et cetera, et cetera. So the time frame for you guys to develop, I would say from 12 to 18 months. I've seen it done in less time, but I like to give you that time frame so you can sustain or have an idea of how long you have to sustain bleeding cash until you can get your home up and going. So keep that in mind as well. So that's where that $50K came in, right? Because you might need it. You may have to dip into that 50K a lot, depending on your circumstances. I don't know everybody's circumstances. They're going to be different, but be prepared to take that time frame. So let's just recap, just a quick wrap up. So we talked about the regional center. We talked about community care licensing. Community care licensing. We talked about experience. We talked about level of care. We talked about income. / expenses. And then we talked about, what was the last thing I talked about there? The last thing I talked about was related to experience. We talked about how much you need to have, how much you need to have in the bank. I think that's plenty of information for you guys today. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the YouTube thingy, and I'll respond to them as soon as I can. But other than that, that is how you set up a group home. Hopefully you guys get some clarity on the process, or it at least sets you on the path or gives you a direction of where you need to go. Other than that, please like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks.